Hey there, everybody. Good buddy Frank back with you again, and number 2 in my video series, how non-addicts can use the 12 steps for positive life change. And just a quick review here. What I'm doing here is I'm taking the largest and most successful and oldest behavioral change instrument, which is the 12 steps, mainly used to treat addiction, and I'm applying it to those of us that do not have addiction problems, and seeing how it can be effective. So last time I shared with you that I'm not going to be covering all the steps because some of them don't directly pertain to what I'm doing here. But I wanted to make sure that I utilized the steps that translate easily into behavior change for people that don't necessarily have addiction problems. And truthfully, it is most of them. And again, I'm mostly leaving, there's a heavy spiritual component to the 12 steps because of variations in religious beliefs, etc. So as not to be a distraction, I'm kind of shying away from delving deep into that. I may do some other videos that cover spirituality and such, but I'm not going to make that part of this series. So last time I talked a lot about acceptance. Okay, that was the point of the last video, which is step 1. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is step 4, and step 4 in the AA and NA 12 steps tells us to make a searching and fearless personality inventory of ourselves. And again, you can easily see why this could be translated from addicts to non-addicts alike. So what people that are trying to work on an addiction are told to do in step 4 is to physically write down, take an accounting of their personality, of both goods and bads. Mostly, people confuse it and they think it's just a list of flaws. It's not. Okay? Every person on earth is complicated. There's some good and there's some bad to us. For some people, there's obviously, if we look at their behavior, there's a lot more bad than good, and for some, there's a lot more good than bad. But most of us are kind of a mishmash of good and bad. You know, there's very few of us that are purely good and purely bad. So our personality inventory in step 4 would reflect that. And I'm going to give you some examples here as I go, and I'm also going to tell you why this is important. Okay, so first of all, I think I'll start with the importance of it. Why do this? Well, most of us spend a lot of time just kind of accentuating our good things and just running away from our bad things. We're trying to ignore them, the bad traits that we have. But unfortunately, we can't really live life that way because you can't really run away from who you are. So the reason why behavior change becomes difficult sometimes for people is because they don't actually do what I call self-confrontation, which is to take a deep dive into who you are and recognize the faults that you have and the places where you need to improve. And this is what step 4 is designed to do. It's designed for you to have a physical, and you would write it down, a physical depiction of what's going on inside that complicated head and body of yours. Okay, so for example, my list would have it would have equal parts, maybe not equal parts, but close, good and bad to it. It would say, I'm Frank, I'm a good friend, I'm a good father, I'm a good husband, but it might also say, I've lied. I have a tendency to be manipulative. Now, these aren't necessarily both the goods and the bads or traits that I carry with me right now, okay? But some of them are. So I'm just giving you some just general examples. It would say, like, I love my children. My children are very important to me, but I also have a tendency to be short-tempered. I have a tendency to not have any patience. Now, with people in addiction, sometimes these behaviors on this list look a little more extreme. Actually, they might look extreme for non-addicts too. You might see things like, I'm a chronic liar, or I'm a thief, or in some cases I'm engaged in prostitution or something like that, or worse. Okay, but for most of us, and that's not exclusive to addicts, obviously, but for many of us, our personality flaws are not that extreme. But this is vitally important to do because we're talking about behavioral change here. Okay, addict or non-addict. So unless you're adequately able to self-confront and get an accurate accounting of the person that you are, it becomes semi-impossible to make lasting and effective behavior change. So we really want to take a deep dive into like our faults, because a lot of them we've carried with us for a very long time. Some of us have never really dealt with the things that are that we need to improve upon. This isn't designed to make you feel bad. Okay. Now, for some people, they look at their list and they feel bad. Okay, but that's all part of the process. That's not the point of it, but it may be an unwanted side effect depending on how you've lived your life. I had to confront some fairly substantial negative things about myself over the past 10 years regarding my character, my ethics, etc., and try to work on adjusting that in a positive way. There were things that weren't too pretty to look at, but they were necessary. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. Just because something's hard doesn't mean it's not necessary to do. And if you really want to change your behavior, make effective change for yourself, you need to do the hard work. And the hard work sometimes is looking inward and seeing that the problem isn't where you thought it was, which could be externally. It's my wife, it's my job, it's my friends. Sometimes the root of the problem is right inside you. And to some degree that should be empowering though too, right? Because if the problem is you have more control over changing it. So there's a sense of empowerment you can get from this. But the whole point of it is to just take a deep dive into the person you are. If you really want to change anything about yourself, you really need to do this. Whether you're an addict or whether you're not an addict, we all can benefit from this. And I'm going to go into in my next video as to how once we make our list, what are we going to do with it? Okay, that's the whole point of the next video. So I'm going to cut it right there for today. We have another beautiful summer day here today. I hope all of you are out there enjoying it, and I really hope you've been enjoying my videos. If you have, please share, go over my YouTube and subscribe. The link I place on all these videos. And I just thank you all for sharing my day with me and being open and listening to what I have to say. Hopefully you found something I've said helpful today. So take care, have a great week, and I'll see you soon, okay? Take care. Bye-bye. Peace.